Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with Obsidian and Flint, he's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrived back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground, each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. I'm just checking the auction here. Sorry about that. I didn't see that the music was over. Okay, so we got a couple of new guys, I think. If you didn't see, Taco Tamer 19U01 for $175. Let's see. Make another one. Nice blade. Make another one, says Attorney Bailey. Yeah, if it was that easy, I could make dozens. I need another piece of Georgetown like that, which I don't have. So, yeah, I'll make another one eventually. But one of the hardest things to do, the second hardest thing to do in all of Flintknapping is to make things to spec. Yeah, so don't expect the spec. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Okay, and then what was the other one that was... Someone bid in Australian money. Yeah. Bob Jane, 170 Australian, which is about 120 US. I hope these guys contact me by email. Okay, but you know, doesn't matter when, just contact me by email, or I'm going to either offer the points to the next highest bidder or wait till the next auction. It depends on how long you make me wait. Yeah, if you say if I don't have to wait at all, I'll just contact the next guy and say, okay, well, the first guy didn't want to, so do you want that item? But if you make, sometimes I wait all week, and then by that time it's time for the auction again. So, all right, so the auction went well. Actually, I'm surprised. I'm always surprised. Something in every auction surprises me. I could set prices for all my stuff, but I never know how much they're going to go for. The way I set prices for my stuff, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to set them according to how much pain and suffering I go through. So the more pain and suffering I go through, the higher the cost. But a lot of these nice blades and nice materials, they don't cause me lots of pain and suffering. So in many cases, they don't. So I don't know how to price them. That's why I get surprised. And the ones that cause me pain and suffering are usually the ones that don't look that great when they're finished. Yeah. Okay, so oops, I gotta check to see who we have in the house. We got lots of people already in the house. The whole crew is already here, I can tell. Yep, as I was looking in the beginning. Excuse me. Okay, so we got Stoneface is number 1. Mr. Jim, evening. The Primitive Gentleman is here. Sam Folks is here. Marty Wybe, hello, hello. Lance McIlwain, what's up? Dockenstein, hey, Bill. Timothy Lithic, hello, hello. Christian Lithical Creature, hey. Tommy Taylor's here. Graylin Landry. Ian Hermson. Live long and prosper, says Tommy Taylor. Thank you, thank you. Flakes Guard is here. Jared, 266, hey. Mike Mason, Tom Brown. Alan Cole is here. Jermaine is here. Hello, hello. Okay, so Mike Mason. JF Baird is here. Hello. One-Eyed Dog. Hey, how's it going? Sam Folks. Yeah, I think I saw you already. Ed Gould is here. You missed another auction. You got to set your alarm on your calendar. Yep. John Jones says hi. Stoneface says hi to everybody. Mr. Jim. Christian Lithical says, sent 1 Jack Crafty Flintknapping gift memberships. Hey, if somebody got a gift membership. Alan Cole got the gift membership. Sweet. Okay, so Ross Wellman is here. Says hi to everybody. Okay, so what am I going to do tonight? We're just going to do some easy stuff, okay? I don't feel like doing anything hard. So I got stuff already set up. Now, I got some of these from Drew's Concrete. Drew Villa or Villa. Landscape Rock. All right, so these are all from Drew's Concrete. And I think he made these bifaces. So this is going to be easy. These are all Texas Church, and I think they're all raw. But they look pretty good. Oh, this is from Melvin. Melvin Rose gave me that one. The stuff from Drew's Concrete is from Ballinger, Texas. Ballinger, yes. This is a heat treat. I might do this one since it's a heat treat. No sense in giving myself a stressed night. Ballinger, Texas. Maybe they're all heat treats. Heat treat 400 degrees. Maybe they're all heat treats. That would be super awesome and fantastically tremendous. Kurt's Church. I got a piece of alabates I could do. Very rare. cost me a bunch. Okay, heat treat 400 degrees, Drew's Concrete from Ballinger, Texas. Awesome. So I think I like this bin. Yes, I do. I like it very much. I like it so much that I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Yeah. I can't handle it when it's there's too much happiness. And if I see too many heat treats, I get too happy. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. It throws off the Flintknapping when I'm not suffering. It affects the Flintknapping, yeah. Let's see. I want to do a translucent one. Is that going to be translucent? I think this is the one. But I don't see no label on it. Figures. Where about this one? Let's see. Did anybody say anything yet? If you got a suggestion. Are these obsidian? No, these are not obsidian. How about Flintknapping the Alibates? I gotta make a biface out of this since these are all bifaced. Except, well, this is kind of bifaced. These need work. The rest of them are pretty well bifaced. So in the spirit of consistency, let's do the ones that are not bifaced. Get them all bifaced. And then we can pick which one I'm going to work on to try to finish. What is the Mondays? Mondays rock the point? Well, I put away my rocks because I'm going on my trip. So I don't have like just regular rocks. I got bifaces. So that's it. That's it. We're going to use bifaces. I don't have my rocks out to nap. Where is, let's see, do I have anything? No, I don't have anything resembling a rough rock. No. Okay. Let's put something out so people can see that we're not just goofing around. We're supposed to be making stuff. Yep, supposed to be. That's the whole idea. And you know, if you stick around for 30 seconds, you're not going to learn nothing. You need to stick around for longer than that. And I'm not going to try to fill you in 30 seconds. Nope. It's a waste of my time. Yeah, even 30 seconds wastes my time because you multiply that by the number of people that want to be debriefed, so to speak. Or they want to get the memo. They want to get a 30-second memo. I'm sorry. If 100 people want a 30-second memo, that's too much time. Why don't I just make a bunch of short videos and, you know, explain it like we're in kindergarten? Well, that's not what the channel is about. I'm not here to, that's not what I intended, to try to condense many years of practice into 30 seconds or 3 minutes, whatever it is. People prefer 30 seconds, but they'll tolerate 3 minutes. I can't squeeze this into 3 minutes without being wrong on some level. Okay. That doesn't bother some people, but that's not the way I want to do it. So this is a heat treat, Alibates. I like it. Yes, I do. It's too good for us though. Yeah, it's gonna affect the napping. Like I said, if I'm too happy about this, it's gonna mess me up. This is supposed to be torture. Yeah. So where do you get this stuff? Not from me. I'm gonna keep this. This is mine. You can't get it from me. Nope. You have to get it from Kurt's Church. Did you pick that up? Did you understand that? You can look it up on the internets. Yeah, on the interwebs. On Facebook, that's where Kurt's Church hangs out. And yeah, all the boomers are there. Well, there's millennials too, I think. Plenty of millennials on Facebook. Gen Z or Gen X. Okay, Gen X. I get mixed up between these. Gen X, millennials. I think they're still using Facebook. Let's see. Hey, Bill Taylor's here. I thought that Alan had a membership also, but I guess his membership lapsed. So because he got a gift membership. That was cool. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see the gift memberships. You guys are very gifting. A lot of generous people in the chat. Over the days, months, and weeks, I've seen lots of generosity in the chat. Okay, so this is... See, I'm going to do a live stream tonight and a one tomorrow night, but that's it. I'm going to be off for about a week. If I do live streams during that week, I will inform you ahead of time. But plan on there not being live streams for a week. Starting Wednesday, I won't be doing one. All the way till next Wednesday. Unless I say I'm gonna. I don't get good reception where I'm going. I tried already. We did a dry run already, and the reception is really bad. I can post auction. I'm going to post auction on Monday, 1 week from today. Auction the stuff I make during the week, and maybe I'll do a regular video or two, depending on how much time I have. If I don't have time, I'm not making no videos. I'm not going to rush it either. Rushing is the worst thing that you can do for the Flintknapping. Yeah. So what is this material? Is it obsidian? Yeah, it's obsidian. It's obsidian, not obsidian. It's obsidian. Makes people upset. Upset that they can't get this. Yeah. So you don't know if I'm saying obsidian or obsidian. Or maybe I'll intentionally misunderstand you and thinking you're saying, is that obsidian where people get upset? And I'll say yes. Yeah. I'll pretend I'm thinking you're saying obsidian. Do we got anybody like that? Anybody like that in the chat? No? Yes? Somebody says, better take notes tonight. Mike, you gonna take notes tonight? Yeah. So everybody knows what elebates is? It's agatized dolomite. It's available in the north end of Texas in the Panhandle or thereabouts. Most of it is in a nationally protected area, heritage site, Native American heritage site, I think. So now that you know about elebates, it makes you a much better napper, huh? You just escalated up to the top levels of napping now, just because you know that information. No? Your skill didn't just jump all the way to the top levels? Dang. It's funny how that works. But people want to know desperately all this information, like it would get them up to the top levels of the napping world. Yeah. Yeah. I know that you know that it doesn't get you anywhere, but you still like it. That's what I don't get. Doesn't get you anywhere, but you still like it. It's like, you still own that car? Yeah, I still own it, man. It's cool. Yeah, but it doesn't get you anywhere? No, it doesn't get me nowhere, but I like it. I know everything about that car, but it don't run. But it's cool because I have to know everything about it. Yeah. That's what it's like. When you know a lot about the materials in flint knapping, but you don't know how to flint knap, that's great. It's like having a car that doesn't run, but you know everything about it. Yeah. My dad had cars like that, sitting in the yard. He would collect stuff. We still got a lot from his collection. After he passed away, it just stayed in the old house. And it's still there. Yep. My step-grandson-in-law bought the house. And all that stuff's still there. Oh, this snaps sweetly. It's too good for us. Dang it. Kurt's Church, how did you manage to heat treat this so well? Dang it. It's too good for us. Yeah, the Pedernales points are doing pretty well in the auction. I'm surprised. I've made some before and they didn't sell very well. I think I'm making them longer and thinner. That's what's doing it. Yeah. I'm using up all my best rocks on those, I hope you know. Some of those rocks cost me a lot of money. So it's not pure profit on those, which is fine. I don't care if it's not pure profit. I'm glad they're selling well. I am very glad. But yeah, people know. Some people know, you know. They know. They know that it costs money to get the materials. And then it costs pain and suffering to not break the materials. Yeah. And many years of practice. To even know what to do with the materials. Yeah, do I risk it? Make something big? Or do I chop it all up and make little points? Or do I bring it over to a friend of mine that can slab it into shape? Yeah. Slab it around a bit. So he's saying slab or slap? Both. Slabbing stone is just like slapping it. Yeah. Because it obeys you. Yeah. You don't always get obedience when you slap, of course, but slabbing it helps to preserve what you got. Rocks don't like to be arrowheads, but if you slab, you got a little bit of show of force there. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, it's too good for us. I keep saying that, but it is. Yeah, when it's good, it can produce flakes without many step fractures. When it starts getting thin, you can't avoid the step fractures. You're going to have little ones. At least. But it looks like it's going to work out. It's got some inclusions in it which are not that great. But I've napped a lot worse than this. Almost everything is worse than this. I don't know why Elevates gets easy to nap when it's heat treated just right. When it's raw, it's not that great. But yeah, Native Americans figured that out too. And there's some Cahokia points made of elevates. And I'm wondering if that's heat treated stuff. I think it is. It doesn't change much. The elevates does not change much when you heat treat it as far as color. It changes in consistency a lot. I don't want to hit too hard right there. So I hardly ever need to grind this. Oops, I better start grinding though. Well, it hit a weird spot. That's my excuse on that one. And it's getting thinner. Yeah. Okay, so that's good enough. I'm just going to quit right there because I'm starting to hit a wall. If I do that, that means I got to stop. Okay, what else? What else we got? Come on, get out of there. Get that out. Let's try this and see what this does. Who do we got and what do we got in the chat? I didn't even clean up from yesterday. I don't know if you noticed. I just walked in and sat down. Let's see. The stream is rubber banding on me. Uh-oh. Lance McIlwain says, that's a very good piece for elevates. All of what I have is extremely fractured, and I mean like 100% fracture per square inch. That's too bad. Hey, Scott Goldsberry's here. Hello, hello. We got intermittent live stream going on. Dang it. What is it doing? What is it doing? Oh, I only got one bar with the... I've only got one bar on the 5G. Dang it. What's going on? It's Monday night. It's not like it's a Friday night and the weekend. Why is the reception so bad? It's ridiculous. It says working fine for me. Okay, good. Okay, so it's streaming out, okay, but just the reception is not good. Okay, good, good, good. I mean, that's better than having intermittent stream going on. Yeah, Lance McIlwain says he's had trouble with elevates. Most of my elevates is small, too. It's like under 2 inches. That was a big piece. But I bought that piece. I bought it. Yeah. What's going on? Let's see. Ed Gould says, I ever tell you when George Stewart threw a wheelbarrow full of elevates in a cement pour to make up the shortage? Holy moly. I was crushed. Yeah, I would imagine. Let's see. Any questions? Any questions? No one asked if this is Obsidian. No one asked if it was. Let's see. Mr. Jim says, I know that I can't be trusted with elevates at my skill level. All right. I know how that goes. Let's restart. Let me refresh this live stream here and see if I can get better reception myself. I need to be able to see myself better. Make a tinfoil antenna? Yeah. I don't know. We shall see. Some of you guys live next to each other. You don't even know. Well, maybe not next to each other, but I can see that some guys are talking. All right, so I'm going to go to the next piece. How many we got? 47 people? Yeah, we're not going to upset too many people. I'm working on some Obsidian. Yeah, it's called Obsidian. All right. Let's see if this works. Oh, first piece. Is that beginner's luck? No, it's not beginner's luck. This stuff is sweet. Oh, I don't know. This batch. Okay. Well, let's do it because I don't have other stuff available. It's all kind of stacked and packed. I don't want to get into it right now. I forgot to go and look for a regular piece of rock for Monday rock to point. So we're just going to go with this. We're just going to use some bifaces, okay? All right. Some people want to know how to do this anyway. And these were already biface. This one was started by Drew. Okay, so he gave these to me last time we saw each other in San Angelo. We met up at a private napping in San Angelo, Texas. And he brought a bunch of his stuff that he heat treated. And it looks excellent, awesome, and fantastic. Yeah, see that? All right, so not only does he know his concrete, but he knows his heat treat. These flakes are staying together like they mean business. They're not goofing around. These are staying together. They're not shattering. They're not acting all stupid. You know, with lots of vibrations and unpredictable terminations. Yeah. These flakes are fairly predictable. It's amazing. There's a little bit of crud right there, but I bet you I can nap right through that stuff. I bet you. Because of the heat treat. If it was raw, that would be a different story. You never know about that stuff. That stuff can get you. When it starts getting thin, yeah. See, this part, you don't encounter too many bad things. The bad things start happening right when they're not supposed to, right when it gets thin. That's when all the bad stuff starts to happen. So we're just cruising along, and it's like a smooth ride. We haven't hit any bumps yet. Just wait till we get thin, and then we start hitting the, go off-road, go on the dirt roads and trails and stuff. Once it gets thin, it's like, well, we're no longer on pavement. We're on the back roads and on trails and dirt roads when it starts to get thin. That's what it's like. And you got to have more skill to drive in those conditions. You can't be just driving any old thing. You've got to have the tools necessary. Yeah, I found out that the hard way. I make my own tools usually. And I used to take shortcuts. I learned the hard way that I can't be taking shortcuts on my tools. Not if I want to make ceremonial pieces. Nice pieces. The kind that do well in the auctions. Ceremonial type pieces. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of artifacts are very well made, but it's kind of overkill for the job they need to do. So I'm thinking that many of those are ceremonial. And yeah, it was a running joke for a long time. I guess people still say, you know, when in doubt, just say it's a ceremonial point. Yeah, when you don't know what it is, but it's well made, you can't figure out what type it is. It's either an eccentric or a ceremonial. Yeah. And people used to giggle. Yeah, of course. You dump it in the ceremonial pile. But I think that there is validity to the idea that many of those points are ceremonial. When it looks like it's overkill, it probably is. That's my opinion. Shall we thin? Let's shall. Look at that. It ran all the way up there. Man, these flakes are running. But we got lots of convexity right now. So that's why they run. They're running because there's convexity. Convexity is like downhill for flakes. Yeah. It's like running downhill. Convexity is like running downhill for flakes. Don't get it mixed up with actually trying to go downhill on the surface. That's not what I'm talking about. The flakes don't need to do much in terms of work if there's lots of convexity. Yeah, they can run a ways. With very little, relatively speaking, with very little encouragement from the percussion flaker or the pressure flaker. So I guess this is called refining the biface. And we get mostly crud flakes from this process. That's not a bad flake. Make a little bitty point. Sometimes I make little bitty points. But a lot of those flakes I'm now going to take to nap-ins to give them away. Those are the ones. I'm purchasing more and more of my rock these days. It's still a very small percentage compared to the stuff that I get as gifts or I find myself. But I am buying more rocks. Yep. Actually, I don't have to keep as much inventory if I buy it. So I can cut down on all the storage space I'm using. Because when you buy stuff from a reputable rock seller, you don't have to go through several pounds of rock to test it to see if it's any good. I've got buckets, like 6 or 7 buckets of stuff that I haven't tested yet that may or may not be good rocks. I'd rather have like 1 bucket of good stuff than 6 or 7 buckets of bad stuff. I can probably get 1 bucket of good stuff from those 6 or 7 buckets of test rock. Needs to be tested. But I've got to do it. It's a matter of having the time to do it. Sometimes it takes forever. Because, you know, you look at the rock and you say, you know what? I don't have to throw this out. I can heat treat it and start over again and do the testing all over again. Yeah. I don't have to throw this out. I can just heat treat it and start over. Yeah. Oh, joy. Maybe I can get 3 buckets of good stuff from the 6 buckets. That's how it used to go. I used to have 50% yield. After heat treating the bad stuff, I could get 50% of it back as good stuff. And the rest of it's pretty much the same. Or it got all broken up. So I lost it. If it gets broken up, you lose it. Obviously. But yeah, I used to get about 50% yield after testing. So you test it first from the raw state, make spalls and flakes and bifaces from the tested stone, and then you say to yourself, okay, which one is going to go into heat treat? And it usually is most of it, like 75 to 80%. Okay, we need to heat treat it just in case anyway. Even if it's not too bad, we'll heat treat it anyway. What could it hurt, right? Sometimes it hurts it really bad, especially the darker colors. You gotta watch it with the darker colors of flint and chert, because sometimes they explode or they don't cook right. Gotta use low heats on the darker ones. In many cases, not all cases. Many cases, yes. Low heat on the darker ones. And then, once you get that done, you get piles of heat treat. You go through and you start testing them again. It's wonderful. It's tremendous and fantastic. So what do? What I'm doing is I scooped out a little bit too much in some areas, and in some areas I left it fat. Why? I don't know. I'm trying to go with the flow a little bit. I see a problem area right here I'm not going to be able to get past. I was hoping that I was going to be able to clear that away. And I did lose some length to try to do that. I'm going to probably lose a little bit more so I can skin that off. It's a shame that that's so nasty right there. Otherwise, this rock is sweet. See, I can't sharpen that or anything. It's all gritty and not, well, it's not really grain. I don't know what that is. It's not grainy. It's just very crunchy. I don't know. Usually I use the word crunchy as far as what it's like to nap through it. Not what it's originally like, but what it ends up being. A crunchy stone ends up being crunchy after you nap it. That's what I call crunchy, but I'm calling it crunchy ahead of time because it's already in that state. It's already nasty. I don't know. I can see it's going to be finicky when it starts to get thin. See that? It doesn't want the really thin flakes don't want to go. Yeah. But the big ones do. The big flakes, they like to travel. The little flakes do not. And we're starting to get finicky terminations. Whereas we were not getting finicky terminations before. So you got 63 people watching. That's pretty good. Pretty good for a Monday. Why for a Monday? I don't know. Seems like everyone would be tired. I was always tired on Monday night. I was never fresh and ready to go on Mondays because the weekends were very hectic. In my house with all those kids, weekends were extremely hectic. So Monday came around, I'm tired on Monday. Already. I hit the ground tired on Monday morning. And then Monday night, I don't want to do nothing. And it's time for the kids to go to bed early because they're tired too because they stayed up too late Sunday. You can tell kids go to sleep, but nowadays, when they have their phones, they can just scroll all night. When they get older, you can't take the phones away because they need them. So I'm just trying to get this thin down without breaking it. It's a very delicate balance. Yeah. Trying to figure out how thin I can go without breaking this. I like this material a lot. If I didn't like it all that much, it wouldn't matter to me if I broke it. But this is good. It might look a little bit like keel cook, but believe me, it's not. It's waxy, it's good, it's not crusty, it's not dry and chalky. Keel cook can sometimes be dry and crackly. This is very waxy. And for a light colored shirt, it's pretty good. A lot of times the lighter colors are dry and chalky. This one is not. It's good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It doesn't want to do it. Is it rearing? It's like it's rearing its thin, ugly head. Okay, come on. See, I'm not supposed to be hitting it hard, and it doesn't appreciate the fact that I'm trying not to break it. It doesn't respond well. It does that. I'm trying not to break it, okay? You can at least be a little more cooperative and not do that. At least. You think it looks like Buffalo River? Buffalo River's not this shiny. Who said that? Who said it looked like Buffalo River? Ralph Snyder? I don't know. If you have this kind of waxy Buffalo River, I want to see. I have seen some of it, yes. But usually when I get heat treated Buffalo River, it's dry. It's not waxy. I mean, it naps well. But it's pretty dry when I get it. And yes, I've paid good money for Buffalo River heat treat. I got some good stuff. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna have to change my strategy on the edges. It doesn't want to do the long flakes once the edges start getting thin, right? That's typical. So you gotta switch it up. You gotta find that sweet zone where you have to grind it a lot. Grind down the thin edges a lot, so they get thicker, but not too, you don't get too narrow. When you do a lot of grinding, it doesn't get all that narrow, but it does beef up the edge. And it's just a subtle little thing. There's a subtle difference in a heavily ground thin edge and a napped thick edge with a little bit of grinding. The edges seem to be about the same, but they act a little bit differently, and that little difference can make all the difference in flint knapping. Between crushing the edges and actually getting a flake to travel. I was doing some flint knapping this morning, and I got that peternalis done this morning. I was happy about that. I tried to take a break after that, and I said, no, I got some more stuff. So I've been pretty much napping all day. Okay, I'm going to quit on this piece and move on. We can come back to these that I've refined. And come back to them a little bit. Yeah, it responds well to lots of grinding when the edge starts getting thin. Yeah, so it's responding okay. Sometimes even if you grind it a lot during the last stages, it still doesn't want to cooperate because the material is just too soft. That happens with obsidian and some other stones. So you just have to keep grinding until you find the grind that works. Sometimes you spend a long time grinding a lot and you find out, you know what? I'm grinding too much. Dang it. Why? How do you know if you grind too much? When the edges start to do that little lip, no, the ring cracks, that means you're grinding the edges too much and it's too thin for what you want to do. You just have to settle for what you got. If it starts giving you ring cracks, you're going to have to back off and stay with that thickness. You're not going to be able to get it much thinner. If you're doing everything else right. There's sometimes you just have to say, okay, that's as thin as it's going to go, according to my skill level. That's it. And the ring cracks are a good indication. As long as you're doing everything okay, it's like, as long as you're learning the materials and know what seems to be working. If all of a sudden it stops working and you start getting ring cracks, that means it's getting too thin for what you want to do. So you either have to learn to do something else or to adjust your technique a little bit and try to do the same thing just with a slightly adjusted technique. The slight adjustment depends on you and your materials. I can't tell you what that slight adjustment is. Sometimes it's just a matter of changing the tip size of your tool. Something simple as that. It could be something as complicated as Refining the edge with pressure flaking, grind it with a specific angle on the edge, not just flat like this, like usual, or not rounded, but a specific angle. Things like that. That's you got to figure that out for yourself. I can't tell you if it's going to help you or not. All right, so that one is pretty good. Yeah. Let's move on. So these are, see, I left the elevates kind of thick because if I drop this, see, if I drop this, it might break right now, right? If it lands on a flake or whatever. But it's one of those things that this kind of chert is not all that rare, but this one is very rare, so I got to leave it really thick, so it will not break at all if I drop it by accident. As an example, okay? In case you were wondering, wait, I didn't reduce the elevates. What's the matter? Yeah, it's because it might break if I drop it. So this one here, this is from Melvin, another buddy of mine. Let me check the chat. I've been napping for 57 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Dockenstein says, what do I win? What games are you playing? Oh, it's Rainbow, Banded, Silver, Sheen, Mahogany, Pumpkin, Agatized, Flint Ridge, Buffalo, Triple Flow, Hornstone, Novaculite, China, Hollow, Mookite, Obsidian. No, it's Obsidian. It's Obsidian. I don't care if it's weird for me to say that. I'm going to say that. This is what I'm napping. Yeah, I'm napping Obsidian. Yeah. Which one is it? I don't know. If you ask me if I'm napping Obsidian, I'm going to pretend this is what you're asking, and I'm going to say yes. Okay? All right. Dockenstein came up with something that's too good. I can't write it all out. Hey, Robert English has just got here. Been swarmed with work. Well, dang it. What did Melvin give you? He gave me a certain kind of Texas chert that is purple. Purple chert. Yeah. He gave me the purple chert. Let's see. Alan doesn't want any of this foolishness. He wants to go right straight to the next. Uh-oh, this feels raw. We shall see. Let's see if this is slick and heat treated or raw and... Oh, it's raw. Yes, it is. How can I tell? Just by the crackliness of it. Yeah. And I'm bending this already. Let's see if we can get that out of there. Whoa, we can't get out of there even with a huge strike. Yeah, this nib's completely different than the other piece. It might look glossy and waxy, but it doesn't want to give up the flakes. Yeah, see, that should have traveled all the way over and eliminated everything. But no. It doesn't even want to do the easy peasies. I can barely get those flakes to travel. But it's nice. It looks nice. Yeah, this looks nice. And if I'm really careful and pay close attention to what I'm doing, I can make this look easy. And you'll think, oh, that's a sweet, buttery piece of Texas, isn't it? It's sweet and buttery. Look how easy you can nap it. Because you're napping it so easily, it must be easy rock to nap. No, it's not sweet and buttery. It's not. I'm just paying attention to it and doing what it likes. Yeah. But if I let up off the gas a little bit, it doesn't want to do anything. It's funny, people have turned Flintknapping into a spectator sport. But what the spectator sees is not the sport. It's not it. They're not seeing the actual napping. They're seeing the result of your adaptation to the stone. They don't see the adaptation. Part of Flintknapping is adapting to what you're doing. Adapting to the conditions. And then making it happen. But when a spectator sees you make it happen, his mind says, oh, it must be easy rock to nap. That's why it's happening, because it's easy. Sweet rock, look how sweet that rock is. No. That's the drawback of being a spectator in this particular sport. You're not seeing what's actually happening. Behind the scenes, so to speak, right? You're seeing what's happening, but you're not seeing behind the scenes. The most important stuff is going on behind the scenes. Yeah, I'm hitting harder. I'm choosing where I'm sending flakes more carefully so I don't send them too far. It wants to dive in. It wants to crush near the edges. So as you can see, I'm not doing a lot of big flakes unless I can dig in real deep. Like in the thick areas, I can send a bigger flake because I can dig in deep. You need to dig in pretty far to send in long flakes, unless it's good material. Then you can back off a little bit. You can send long flakes on You can send long flakes on good material that you cannot with bad material. But you can learn to send these good flakes with bad material if you just tweak it a little bit to adapt to the stone. And don't ask it to do too much. And then it looks like, oh, you can get thin flakes like that. There must be sweet rocks. Look how flat that is. You can get flat flakes like that. That's a sweet rock. No, one of the indications that it's tough is that it's very smooth with no ripples. And if you can get a flat flake, it's unusual. Usually these flakes like convexity. This one is abnormally flat and does not indicate good material. In fact, it's the opposite. A lot of times the difficult material will yield a very flat flake. Why? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that this is really tough material. I've napped a lot worse. But it's not the kind of material I would give to a beginner and say, look, this is going to be easy for you, relatively speaking. Here, you can make something out of it. Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. It wouldn't be fair to the new guy. Yeah. Unless he had a big ego, and then I would give it to him, and so his ego would take a little nosedive. It's always good to see your ego take a nosedive if it's been cruising at high altitude for too long. Yeah. All right. This stuff kind of feels almost like elevates that's not heat treated. Yeah. It's better than that though. It is better than unheated elevates. Well, some unheated elevates is actually not bad to nap. So yeah, it can be like this. If you learn its ways, it can be cooperative. But this is going to be difficult to notch. I can already tell. It's going to eat up my notcher. I'm going to have to resharpen it a lot. Because it's banging up this percussion tool quite a bit. I have not resharpened or exposed the fresh metal on this yet. Wait till it gets thinner and then I'll see the negative returns or the diminishing returns, and I'll say, oh, I gotta now expose the fresh metal on the copper so I can get to the next stage. I'll get through the next stage. This is just downward hits, easy peasy stuff. You try to get it trimmed back a little bit. The good thing about raw stone that's tough is that it can produce a very nice sharp edge, or you can get it nice and sharp, where it doesn't wear down very fast. It feels all dangerous. Yeah, this edge, even with the downward strikes, it feels all dangerously sharp. Let's see. Yeah, I just removed the dangerously sharp edge. Because that's not what I'm after right now. I'm after the ability to thin this down. And I need to grind this, or the next round of flakes is not going to work right. I gotta make sure I don't try to do too much. What happens if I try to do too much? Or what does that mean? If I grind it a lot and hit it really, really hard, hoping that I get a good flake, I'm not paying attention to the possibility of snapping the whole thing. I have to pay attention to that also. I can't be just hammering away and responding to how the flakes are traveling. I've got to worry that maybe one of these strikes is going to produce a radial crack and it's going to go right across. Sometimes it produces radial cracks, the ones that are perpendicular to the surface, and that'll cut it. It actually cuts the piece in half. When you hit really, really hard, those radial cracks rear their ugly heads. So I've got to make sure I'm using the minimum amount of force to get what I need, and I just need to go halfway. I don't need to be going too much further. So if you notice, they're all terminating at about halfway. Am I predicting that? Well, in a way, yes, I'm trying to predict that. Some of them go a little further, some of them don't go far enough. But if on average they go to the middle, that's good enough. I don't have to hit too hard and risk breaking everything. Sometimes when I hit too hard, it smashes it. That's always a consideration as well. Yep, okay. Does this side look? This side looks better. Yes. See, I switched it to make sure it was a you know, cleaner metal because I wanted good contact for that very hard strike. Sometimes you think that the hard strike is going to work and it doesn't. It's because there's a lot of rock dust in the flaker. That's one of the main culprits of the flakes not traveling the same as they were just a few minutes ago. It's the rock dust in the flaker causes it to slip. The rock embedded in there. Now some guys think that rock dust on the surface actually helps it not to slip. That might be the case, but I've never noticed any significant difference with rock dust on the surface. Rock dust on the surface, for me, it just interferes with me being able to see what's going on the edge. I mean, if there's rock dust there, unless it's highlighting where the center line is, it doesn't really do anything for me. Okay, so I think I got that thin down enough to where the next stage is not so labor intensive, right? I don't have to thin it too much more. Right. Yeah. It's stress intensive to get it thinner, but it's not labor intensive. I don't know if that makes sense. See, when it's starting to get thin, these flakes become very important. So your stress goes up, but you can kind of relax and be very picky about now where the flakes are going to come off, and you can kind of unwind slightly once you get used to the stone. But it's that little subtle difference between backing off so much that it's not working and you're getting short flakes, and you know, still on the other end of the spectrum, full of all this pent up energy that you're trying to force into the stone. It's somewhere, you got to be in somewhere in between those. In the beginning stages, you've got a lot of pent up energy, and you know you got to knock off a lot of stone. But as it gets thinner, you don't need to knock off that much. You can be very specific and picky about where you're going to knock the stone from. Yeah, but it's still difficult because it gets mentally difficult. The surfaces have got to be prepared just right. The edges got to be prepared just right. You've got to be able to observe the convexity and never hit into a concavity. Always hit into a convexity. It doesn't need to be a ridge. It just needs to be convex. And if you don't have enough meat in that area for what you want, you don't take the flake, even though it hurts not to take the flake. You can't do it. You can't take the flake into an area that's not convex when it starts getting thin. You're asking for trouble. And if it succeeds for you, that means you're lucky. You got lucky. And then sometimes when the guys get lucky, they think that, okay, we're going to continue to be lucky because we learnt. No, you didn't learn. You got lucky. That's not learning. Okay, you got to recognize the difference. And it takes time to recognize the difference between a lucky hit and a hit from learning. Success from learning or success from luck. You got to be able to know the difference. Because if you think it's learning, but it's actually luck, the next time you want to try to do it, it's not going to do it. And you're going to wonder why. And you might wonder why for days, weeks, months, and years. Why wasn't that one flake back in 2010? I still remember that one flake that I was supposed to go because, you know, I was doing great. It's because you got lucky. I'm not saying people remember that, but you know what I mean. I don't remember flakes I took off in 2010. Unless I go back to one of my old videos. Oh yeah, I remember that one. I don't want to watch this. That's how I usually am with my old videos. I go, hey, I remember that one. Let's change the channel. Yeah, I don't want to see it. Nope. It's cringy. Okay, so that's good enough for now. Yeah, I can get carried away and then go too far. All right, what else we got? We got some. Those are okay flakes. I mean, I like this material, but you know, it is kind of delicate and crackly, but I like it still. I don't know if I should save those or give them away. You can only get those from me at Knappings, though. I'm not going to send them out in the mail. Nope. Gotta go to Knappings. I'm going to mix these in and sort them out later. I'm curious about this one. What is this? I don't know what this is. It's a Texas rock, but I don't remember seeing stuff like this in Texas. This is a rare one. Let's see what it looks like responding to a bopper. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Did that just do that, or did I do that? Did I do that, or is that already there? See, this was napped by Drew. Okay. I wrote his name on it this time. I've been writing people's names on these things recently, so I don't forget. Not like I could remember. I could never remember very well, unless it was like only a few days ago. And I've learned over time that I cannot get to these things in a few days. I would say to myself, yeah, I can get to it in a few days. Yeah, why not? What's the problem? But no. It's too many distractions. I mean, real distractions, not just ADHD stuff. That happens too, but there are real distractions. So I can never get to these things quickly. That's what it seems like. This is nice stuff. It doesn't nap as good as Novaculite, right? This is a lot harder than Novaculite. Novaculite is very soft. Heat treat Novaculite. But it might look like Novaculite to you, but it doesn't nap in that way. This is still tough, and you can feel the edges are they get sharp and stay sharp. Yeah, you can just kind of feel the way it grabs the skin on a raw stone or a stone that's a tough heat treat. It grabs the skin like a sharp steel blade. So I was looking on Facebook and I saw a guy ask questions about this stage. He can get to this stage, but when he tries to go past this stage, he ends up with step fractures, stacks, islands, scoop outs as it gets thinner. He can't go further than this. He can have smooth surfaces up to this point, but once he starts getting past this point, there's no smooth surfaces. They're just mess after mess after mess. So I tried to answer the question, and I told him it's the convexity. You've got to become good at learning the convexity. How much convexity does a stone need? You have to know that. And a lot of times you'll just know it instinctively after many hundreds of pounds of stone. You get the feeling for, okay, I gotta watch it. I can't be napping any flat areas. So on some stones you can nap very close to being flat. On other stones, there's no way. And of course, a lot of these guys that get to this point and they can't go further, they're napping difficult stone. So nobody has a good time doing it. Absolutely nobody. And they wonder, how do you progress past this stage when all you get is mess? Well, you have to look, first of all, at the stone you're napping. Some stones don't allow themselves to become thin. They will fight you every step of the way. And that goes for experienced nappers or new nappers. There are experienced nappers that get lots of step fractures on some stones because the stones are a pain to nap. And they say, no, I'm not going to nap this. They're experienced nappers and they go, no. There's no way I'm napping any more of this stuff. Nope. Next. But the new guys, they don't say next. They say, I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do it. Because there's got to be a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. All the other crafts, if there was a will, there's a way. Nope, nope. Not in Flintknapping. So I just take big flakes at this stage. I don't start taking little flakes till later. I still go for the gusto. And I get myself into problems that I got to damage control myself out. So you got to get good at damage control. Yeah. It just takes time. And this isn't too bad. It is raw, but at least it cooperates. Or did I say this is raw? This feels like a raw, but I doubt if it's raw. If it's heat treat, it's heat treated just perfectly because it's not too crackly. It's still tough, but it's not the same kind of toughness and it doesn't fight back as much as a raw stone. Although I can feel it's tough. I don't know. Since I'm not familiar with this type of stone, I'm not sure how it would knap raw. So I could compare. This probably is a heat treat, because I'm not crushing the edges in the same way that I would be with a raw stone. I don't know if that makes sense. See, a raw stone would resist the flakes a lot more, and I would have to keep hitting, and I would end up crushing the edges with unsuccessful strikes until I finally found the right grinding amount to continue. This one allows me to generate flakes without so much grinding. I still have to grind, but it's not like a raw, tough piece where I would have to go through lots of suffering with the crushing and the bending of the flaker, and have to change the position of the billet or the mallet from hitting like right here on the mallet to hitting like right there to increase the velocity. All these things with raw stone I'm not really encountering with this piece. Sometimes with raw stone I got to increase the pressure beforehand. There's all these little tweaks that happen to give you just that more energy, that little bit more energy that you need. Sometimes you have to back it up, like put your leg closer so that your hand is more firm when you're holding it. But that's kind of rare. I try not to knap rock that's that tough. And I can use the indirect percussion flaker on it. Whereas if it was really tough, I'd have to sit here with a bopper and smash it to get some of these bigger flakes. If it was raw or tough. Some heat treats are still tough. I won't say too much more. There's too many variables. If I talk in generalities, which I am, I end up making mistakes. Oh, there's a defect right there. Crystal pocket. Couldn't see it from this side. Yeah, it's a ring crack, but it was also a defect in the material that led to that ring crack. It's not only the thinness of the edge, but it's the defect in the middle. That solved that problem. I don't have to worry about it trying to keep it wide. Yeah. I saw a little bit on the surface, but I didn't think it was that big. Why do I like to keep it wide? Why do I worry about keeping it wide? It's just a habit to get into. It's best to keep it wide. It gives you more opportunities. And if it starts to misbehave, just make it more narrow. But you always default to keeping it wide. I think it's a good habit to stay in. Oh, dang. As it gets thinner, you want less and less of those because they're difficult to get out. Those are difficult to get out. The ones that seem easy, many times are difficult because it's pretty flat right there. There is some convexity, so I don't see much of an issue. I'm going to try to get it out right now. If you try later, if you leave it in, it becomes an issue that's not good. Are there any good issues? Well, sometimes you get lucky and you get really thin in an area, and it is an issue if it makes it weak in that spot. But if you needed to get it thin anyways, as long as you don't break it after that, it's a good thing. It's not always a bad issue. And you can say, well, how about overshots? They're like that. Yeah, on rare occasions, you get an overshot that takes off something that you didn't mind it removing. It's still going to be a hassle to repair the edge that's left. You know, you took out an obstacle that was pretty bad, but it left you with a result that's also not easy to deal with. I'd rather have a result that's easy to deal with. You know what I mean? Jelly bean? So that's still in there. We're getting close. I'm trying to maintain symmetry. We did have a bunch of people watching, but they left. Check the chat. Well, let me get this edge trimmed, and then I'll check the chat. Yeah, that's better. The ones that left, they missed it. Okay, let me check the chat. Let's see. TJ says, Stoneface, what is AAA? I have incurable lung cancer. I was meant to go 2 years ago. Mike Mason says, I mean, I work at AAA. Should I quit? Are we talking about the same thing? I mean, AAA for me, I'm paying for memberships for my kids on AAA so they can get their car towed and all that kind of stuff. Roadside assistance. Is that what we're talking about? No, probably not. Stoneface turned 75 in May. Oh, dang. I didn't know some of you guys were that old. No questions? Let's see, how long have I been napping? An hour and 36 minutes? We'll see what we can do in the next 20 minutes. Ed Gould says he's going to crash. Okay. Taco Tuesday was a good part of the chat, Patrick. Oh, talking about Taco Tuesday. What did I miss? Well, I used to like Taco Tuesday. What is this? What is this? I don't know. Okay, we'll just get back to the napping. Yes, yes. Let's see, what else? Oh, this is one of Melvin's also. Let's try this Melvin rock. Looks like he bifaced that pretty well. Either that or I bifaced it during that little private nap-in and then put his name on it. I don't know. It's possible I could have napped this, but he's getting to be a proficient napper, so he might have napped this. You know, skinned off all the nasty stuff. Yeah, this is supposed to be a rock to point video, but oh well. My eyes are too tired to do a rock to point tonight. I've been napping all day, basically. This one feels like high grade raw. Yeah, they're dead. Except a little bit too much gusto. But it's okay. It was thin right there anyway. Can't avoid it sometimes. Yeah, I think this is a high-grade raw piece. I'm having to use extreme measures to get long flakes. And it still didn't do it. Still didn't. I hit that as hard as I could. I bent it. Look at that. Still didn't go. I wonder why it didn't go. It looks so nice. It looks like the snap is so easily and sweet. No, it's not. I'm just trying not to mess it up. I'm trying not to mess it up. That's why it looks like it might be sweet. I could easily mess it up if I don't watch myself. Oh yeah, I could step fracture this easily. I mean, I already did it a couple times. And I had to scoop out a lot just to get those out of there. That's going to come back to bite me later because it scooped out a little bit too much. It comes back to bite me because sometimes I have to lose length to reestablish a good center line. Here we go. Yes. We can go to the middle as long as we go to the middle or a little bit past the middle. It just doesn't want to go past it. It's a little brat. See, it doesn't want to do it. To be fair, it has concrete in the middle. I can't blame the stone entirely. Well, yes, I can. I'm going to blame the stone again. It's got concrete. I mean, I was going to cut it some slack because, you know, it's got a disability. But just because it has a disability doesn't mean that it's making it difficult for everybody. You're making it difficult for everybody. Come on. Oh, I think it did it. Yes. Yep. Okay. One more. You can do it. Okay. Sweet. I don't have to get it thinner than that, hopefully. There we go. The patch of concrete does not go all the way through. It does kind of, but it doesn't interfere too much. All right. This one is a raw piece, but it's a high quality raw as long as there's no concrete. So yeah, it's good. I'm gonna call it a night. My eyes are getting tired. Yeah. My eyes are getting tired. I feel like I'm rambling sometimes. Trying to tell you what I'm doing and it's not really coming out right. I'm going to go back and listen to my live stream. What am I saying? What did I say? So we took some bifaces that were kind of rough and refined them a little bit. I do this on slab night too, when I take the slabs and I refine them. So we started with this one, then we went that one, then we did that one, and I think these were the last two. This one is translucent. I was hoping to get one that was translucent. This one is also, I believe, kind of, sort of. It's not. I thought this was going to be a little more translucent, but oh well. So yeah, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like to do this at the beginning of the week anyway. When I'm not on video, I'll just knock out a bunch of refined bifaces. Yep. I got some right here from the previous week. Yeah, so I just add them in. So now I got a good supply. Yeah, that's good. And we got some to still work on. All is well. Or all is well unless I spill something. And then all is not well. I hate it when I spill something on my stuff. We're gonna sneak these under the rug, so to speak. I sort through these flakes later. Yeah. These are from last night and tonight. All these flakes that are underneath, right down under here. It's a big pile of them. Remember that? We got some of this Georgetown with Cortex. Some of it was good, some of it wasn't. But yeah, I'll sort that later. Okay, keep the camera steady. Alright, so that's it for tonight. I'm going to call it a night. I got a lot to do tomorrow. What is that? I turned off all the sounds on my phone and I still get some sounds. I don't even know what that was. I mean, I saw a little message up on top, but from where? I had no ideas. Yep, good night, everybody. I'm going to call it a night. I've been online for an hour and 50 minutes. Let me see if I can see questions in the chat. I'm looking. Hold on. Flint Ridge. Some people asking about Flint Ridge. Oh, you're Lauder. Yeah, I don't know where you live, but it's near Columbus. Nether's Farm. You picked up 10 pounds from Nether's Farm? That's cool. I didn't know you could still collect there. I thought it was all being sold by the pound. I don't know. How is it collecting at Nether's Farm? Do you have to pay to get in, or do you pay by the pound, or what is it? Mike Mason, thank you, Pat. You're welcome. Buenas noches. Yes. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's see. Chris Lithic says, I'm going to go and match your bifaces. Yay. Heat treating helps. Yeah. It helps the nethers or the Flint Ridge. And Doghouse says, I don't ramble. I'm glad you think I don't. I appreciate that. Thanks, Danny. He says I don't ramble, so I guess I don't ramble. It feels like it sometimes. Talking about Flint Ridge, looks like in the chat. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the house. I'm going to check the auction and check my emails. Okay, Chris Lithic asked the question, anyone know how I can get some Flint Ridge? Yeah, there's various people selling it too. Not, just going to Nether's Farm is one option, but I think there's lots of people selling it. Usually when people ask that question, they want it for free. Like, where can I get rock for free? But they don't say for free. Yeah. It is expensive if you want to buy hundreds of pounds, because you're going to need hundreds of pounds of rocks to get good at this. All right. I got lucky in the beginning that I got a bunch of rocks from a guy that moved, and he didn't want to take all his rocks with him. So he said, you can take whatever you want from the stuff I'm leaving behind. I said, okay, that's what I want to do. Turns out most of it needed heat, but it's okay, because I got hundreds of pounds of heat treat eventually. Tammy Ward, do you think the nutting stones were for making arrowheads? No, absolutely not. There are many reasons why the nutting stones type of things were not used for making arrowheads. One thing is, you don't want to put a rock on top of a rock when you're knapping it. Okay? That's the main thing. Number two is there's much better ways to do it. If in that case, you'd rather have a piece of wood with a hole in it than a rock, what happens if you drop the rock on the nutting stone that you're knapping? You accidentally drop it. Like, that never happens, right? You're going to drop it on that? No, you're not going to drop it on the nutting stone, because that never happens. No one ever drops stuff on rocks like that. What are you talking about? Yeah, they just don't know. And it doesn't occur to them that that's what would happen many times for no reason. You don't need to do it. There's many better ways to knap than that. It's so obvious that it's not seen. I don't know how else to explain. A lot of things that people look at, it's so obviously wrong, but it's so obvious to the point that they don't see it. Like their brain says, it can't be that obvious. It cannot be that obvious that that's wrong. If it was that obvious that it was wrong, then you wouldn't be doing that. But no, Sometimes it's so obviously wrong that you don't see it. It's a weird thing. Okay, so I guess that's it, right? No questions? That was a good question, though, about the nutting stones. KRYT5, how do you think the natives heat-treated stone on the fire? Bury under? Yeah, you can bury under or arrange them around the fire in open air. I prefer to arrange them around the open coals, making sure there's no breezes or drafts. That way you can actually watch the stones. And you can keep feeding the fire and just watch the stones. And you can cook your meat at the same time, because guess what? Meat cooks at the same temperatures as rocks. Average around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That's funny how that works, isn't it? So if you're cooking, like let's say the wife says, I don't want to cook tonight, you cook. Okay, I'll cook the meat and I'll cook my stones. So you just arrange them around the coals of the fire. Both of them will get cooked. But you can bury them also. But don't bury them too deep, because then you'd have to build a fire really big. The deeper you bury the stones, the bigger the fire, and it's wasteful. If you bury the stones very deep, you're wasting all that firewood. It does work, but you got to build a huge fire. It's incredible how much insulation 1 inch of dirt is, as an example. Some guys are burying their rocks like 6 inches under the fire, and it's never going to reach that deep, not to the heat that you need. Especially if you got rocks that need to be heated to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. Where's my live stream? Clay ovens, and yeah, Knapping. Yeah, they had clay ovens, but they weren't heating rocks in the clay ovens as far as we know. They were heating up mostly roots. Something like that. Sometimes the rocks will pop and leave shards everywhere. So you don't want food anywhere near the popping rocks. Now, I just said that you cook meat around the fire. Yeah, but you can watch the flakes. You can see when they're popping. If one pops, then you take the meat away. But if it's in an oven and it starts popping, it's a little bit late. You get all kinds of debris in the oven. You have to clean it out and stuff. How do I know there's lots of debris when something pops? I don't know. But anyway, I wouldn't want to cook rocks in a clay oven. It's just a lot of maintenance. Your Lauder says, yeah, honestly, it's a cool place to go. Okay. Talk about naders. And clay ovens are relatively new in the archaeological record. I'm pretty sure they used to cook with hot stones rather than with clay ovens. Before clay ovens, there were hot stones. Oops. And that's why you get a lot of big burned stone middens, because the rocks break up after a while. And I think you can look it up on YouTube how to cook with hot stones. Anything else? Stone face bipolar? Is that a question? Bipolar, is that a question? Are you talking about bipolar napping? And Doghouse says, rocks around the fire works great. I noticed a difference just after a few hours. Maybe not perfect, but definitely noticeable. Yeah, I prefer open air heat treat myself. Let's see if I can find my video where I do it. Hold on a second. You know what? I need to look that up just so I can see if I did it right. Heat treat around a fire. Oops. Heat treat around. Come on. The spell check is terrible on YouTube. Heat treat around a fire, Jack Crafty. Okay, so I've typed a heat treat around a fire, Jack Crafty, and then I'm going to search. Where is it? I didn't, I called it something else, didn't I? Let's see. How about open fire? Heat treat open fire. Sounds almost like shooting a gun. Let's see. Heat treat open fire. I got a bunch of heat treating videos. Regular heat treat. Let me see. It's got to be somewhere because I did a video on it. No, I didn't label it right because I can't find it. Hunt Primitive. He did one that I think he buried his though. Dang it. What did I do with it? Pardon me while I get frustrated with myself. Should be able to look this up pretty fast. Flintknapping by Seth, he's got one. I don't know. You can look that up and look at these different ones, but I've got one that's an open fire thing. Maybe it's just, maybe I put it as a post somewhere on the internet and not a video, just pictures. I might have done just a picture post somewhere. Dang it. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can find it in my pictures. Yeah, let's look at... Do I have access to all my pictures? Not on this phone. No, I don't have access to it on this phone. So yeah, I've got to do it on video. Dang it. It must have been like a photo type of thing that I did. Maybe on the Primitive Archer forum or something. Okay, anyways, I have heat treated over an open fire. It works. It works. I like it better than burying the stone. Okay. All right, see. Danny says you can turn them around. Let's see. Let me look at this phone because the chat keeps going and I can't stay up with the chat on the phone that I'm filming with. Let's see, where am I? Danny's trying to answer the question. I can't read it. It says here, you can turn them around 180 degrees after an hour or so and get both sides. Oh, yeah. I've also used 55-gallon drums full of coals burned down. Come on. After every drum full of coals burned down, after every eats and goes to bed, I scooch the barrel over the stones, I guess. All right. Oops, my message got cut off. Anyway, I scooch the barrel over and grab my rocks in the morning and move the barrel back. Okay. Awesome. Okay. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Good to see you. Bye-bye.